I thank God Liverpool will be playing Manchester on Sunday.
Yes, machos the same. What dear when
Careful.
God. Your God, Jesus.
Ladies and gentlemen, hello and welcome to Kenya's Market Mop. This is a weekly podcast that seeks to map out business activities that occur during the week in the Kenyan space for now. Might get into other spaces later, but yeah. So, welcome to our 10th episode. This is our 10th episode.
Yeah, 10th episode.
Yeah. Thank you.
Hey.
Yes, that's so satisfying. Eh? Thank you for being with us so far. Yeah, and yes.
Who are you?
What are you?
Okay. So my name is Easter Fanning, and with me I have my co-hosts for the day. That is to my right is
Keegan Kiplimo is always
the G and
Daniel Kalia.
the Daniel Kalia. I don't know why I have to remind him to insert that article. Yeah, but anyway, so this is which week is this?
It's a week, second last week of.
Yeah,
October.
it's the second last week of
We're in
October.
the middle of October. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
It's not in the middle. It's towards the end. It's the last week. Last is not middle.
that's how you know a Kenyan is broke when they're looking for the end month. They're yearning for the
Yeah, just came here to record
you
a
know,
podcast. All of a sudden, I'm called broke. It's fine.
I'm sad
fine.
that October is ending because October has been a special month for Kenyans because as a country we've been chairing the UN Security Council. You know,
May I thought it was special
the
because
UN
Kafuli
Security
Tolewa,
Council.
but
So
okay.
we've been the chair for the month of October. I hope we've used it very well, to push our agenda out there.
Yeah.
It's been an awesome month.
Had the president being interviewed by his cousin. I like how they were pretending. How they were pretending like they don't know each other. You got that interview?
No,
They were pretending like they didn't know each other.
I haven't watched the interview.
You should. What's his name? I'm forgetting.
Jeff Koinange.
Jeff. Yeah, had an
And
interview
President
with President Kenyatta in the US.
Yeah, but
Guess
the
you worked it out.
fact that they are cousins doesn't take away anything. I mean, this is a president and this is a journalist.
I did not say it does. I did not say it does.
it was just a statement of
Okay, you
fact.
said without saying.
Yeah, I said without saying.
Mister, what do you have for us this week?
Anyway, so this week has been very interesting. Not much happening throughout the week, but then on one day a lot happened. The Mashujaa Day.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, about that actually, I would like to appreciate you as our warriors. Shujas are warriors, right?
Yes.
Yes,
Heroes.
you are Shujas, our heroes at your warriors. Yeah, thank you so much for walking this journey with us from when we started till now. Thank you for subscribing, for always listening, for sharing your feedbacks on our various socials. Keep up with that. Thank you. We appreciate you. Yeah, so that said, a lot happened during the president's speech. It sparked a lot of happenings in the country. We had him... The country. So the president unveiled the third economic stimulus package.
Yeah.
Kenya.
With what monies?
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe it's...
We'll get into that.
Anyway, we'll talk about that. Then also with the same thing, we do not have curfew. No more. There's no curfew.
Makofi.
Makofi.
Hata
hiyo ni shangwe na nderemo.
Yeah. Anyway, yeah. So we'll get to know how the implications of that economically and whichever aspects you'd want to think of it. We'll get into that. Then yes. Then there's also the president removing the listing. He introduced a cap that if for the SMEs who with outstanding loans less than 5 million shillings,
5 million
cannot be listed as CRB.
No, it was just SMEs,
bureaus.
not individuals.
It's just SMEs.
SMEs.
Yeah, we'll be getting into that.
Yeah, and we need Kenyans to understand that because
people are overly excited.
Yeah,
for
I'm like
for nothing.
But brother, the last time I checked, you did not have a business. Why are you this excited about?
Ouch.
I did not mean to throw shit.
Okay.
Yeah, so that's the other things. We'll talk about that later. But before we start, okay, let's just start. Yeah,
our highlights.
What's
When
your
we haven't
highlights?
started.
Let's delve into the thing now. Keegan, let me start with Kalia. Kalia, what were your highlights this week?
As you would know, on a certain Wednesday evening,
Here we go again.
it was a bright and sunny. No, it was not a sunny day. It was at night. when Atalanta thought they had us by the balls. But lo and behold.
You're talking about football.
Yes, I am talking about football.
Okay.
Like if you did not get it by Sue, yeah, you're probably in the right forum because this is not one for football.
Good to know.
First of all, let me start by by thanking Firmino, Mane and Salah in advance for what they will do to that small team. My highlight for the week is a conversation that I was having with a friend about how international brands, when they come to Kenya, they tend to be stickers of quote unquote international standards and forget about how things run in Kenya. Okay, so an example is, and this, I was sharing this with a friend of mine. The year is 2019.
Yes.
My cousin and I were in Nairobi. We want to go to our home in the countryside.
Yes.
So you don't just go back home to your mother, with empty hands. You have to buy some sugar, you have to buy some flour,
Africanism.
Yeah,
Africanism,
you have to buy some things, to take to your mother. Yeah. So we go into Kafo, which is at the hub in Karen.
Okay.
So we go there, we buy some stuff, we shop, we buy, everything, soap, everything. So then we go to the cashier. So the cashier bills it and it comes to around 10K.
Uh-huh.
So we are okay, we're going to pay this. So we just need one favor from you guys. Please put these things in a box for us. Tufungie, wrap it in a box so that because we are going for a long journey, we want them to get home safe.
Yes.
Okay, in good condition.
Compact.
So the guy who's doing the packing tells us, no, you guys have to buy these Carrefour bags. We can't do this for you guys. Yeah. This is just police. So we ask him, please call your manager for us. So the manager comes. We tell the manager, hey, please do this for us. Our reason is this: we're going for a long distance journey and we want our products to get there safe. Now the thing that happens is, once you get there, when the manager comes, we explain that. When we explain that to the manager tells us, again, it's company policy. We can't do this. Yeah. So my cousin laughs and tells me, let's go away. So we leave them.
With the goods?
We leave them with their goods.
Mshalipa.
We haven't paid.
Oh.
So the cashier had billed, it comes to around 10K plus. So as we leave and we go to Naivas. When we get to Naivas, we buy the same things. Comes to around 12 Gs now. We didn't even have to tell Naivas guys that, these things have to be put in a box. They just put it in a box. We didn't even have to say. Okay? Yeah. So these guys lost out on that sale.
Yeah.
Simply because of their standards.
Rigidity,
which is okay. So for me
is okay?
It's okay. Standards are good. But then you have to conform to how generally people do business. Okay? And the thing is, this is just, for me, it's a clarion call to international brands. When you come to Kenya, it's okay to have international standards, but at least conform. Don't be a sticker for rules. Conform to what happens. Yeah.
No, but if it's policy, it's policy. They're happy with that.
It's working for them.
You are not the target market.
Whoa!
I'll cry. I'll just cry after the show. I'll cry.
Anyway. Yeah, Keegan, I understand you. I understand your cry. Yeah. But that's why you have variety in the market, Yeah.
Come on, guys.
I won't tell you that.
You guys are bashing me for my highlights.
At least we thank the economy or whichever supreme being you believe in that we have variety.
Options.
Yeah, competitive markets.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Yeah.
So my highlight for this week was what happened to the Ndichu brothers. Nilipona? I was sick. I was not feeling quite well. The other episode, if you guys noticed, I was having
we're happy to see you're fine, bro.
Yeah.
Nice to know. I'm feeling so important now. Anyway. So yeah, my highlight for this week was, for last week, really, was the Ndichu brothers incident. Yeah, this Ndichu brothers.
Unapenda violence?
No.
Okay, so just give us background information for some of our listeners who may not know who Ndichu's brothers are and what they do.
Hey, if you are that listener, bana, you are in a cave.
No, actually, if you look at our numbers, after Kenya, The US is our biggest market, is our biggest audience. You also have guys in Ireland. Shout out. Yeah.
So Ndichu brothers, these are two brothers, entrepreneurs, who are very big players in the Kenyan fintech sector.
Yeah.
Yeah, they developed a payment system called WapiPay, which seeks to create a technology infrastructure to link Kenya and Asia as well as other West African countries. So they're creating a platform of channel where payments can be made. Yeah. I think the way they make their money is through commissions and all that. Yeah. So they're doing very well. The thing is very promising.
Yeah.
But so recently, now there was an incident where the two brothers were caught on camera engaging in a fracas with some ladies who happened to be, what do they call? What's this lawyer's name?
Philip Murgor.
Yeah, Philip Murgor's
Nieces.
Nieces. Wait.
Yeah.
Things confused me. Yeah. Anyway, yeah. So yeah, that was it. And so as a result of that, it emerged that these brothers were inflicting harm on these ladies.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so that did not go well with the larger community. That is just everyone now. Social media
Yes.
and
I
all
mean,
that.
it's a terrible thing. I mean, assaulting people.
So, well, we do not know yet what exactly happened, but as a result of that, just what was seen on the video.
Yeah.
The financials of WapiPay, some company, I forget the name.
Kepple Ventures.
Kepple Ventures. Thank you. The private equity firm that is.
It's a VC firm.
VC firm.
Yeah.
Yeah. Thanks
So
for the corrections.
yeah.
Okay, what happened? You know, I mean,
So they
you're
were
going very slow with this story.
They were like, so you cannot, because of that, we don't support this. These are GBV, gender-based violence,
Yeah.
is something that we stand up against all the time.
Yeah.
And we cannot support brands that seem to propel that. You know, so they withdrew the financing from that.
Yeah.
From this venture. So WapiPay do not have as much capital as they would have. Yeah.
Actually,
Just as a result of so it's
a clarification on that. They didn't really remove or withdraw funding. What they said is that they will not take up their rights to convert their funding to equity. So
it's debt equity. It's debt capital now.
It's not debt capital. It's a version of debt capital. It's more of convertible. It's a version of convertible debt. So for a startup like WapiPay, they did a pre-seed round of where they raised $2.2 million dollars, which is 240 million shillings, give or take.
Yes.
And this was done by 6 investors. Kepple,
one of them.
Kepple being one of them. So I have not yet been able to find out the breakdown of how much each one of them did, but normally in the startup space, what happens is they give these kinds of financing, especially when it's pre-seed round or seed round, the early stages, where it's some form of convertible debt with a promise to convert it to equity at an agreed price in the future.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So they're usually called safe notes. I've forgotten SA stands for what, but for future equity.
Jargon.
Yeah. So that's the thing. So what Kepple said is that they won't take up the right to convert their investment into equity in subsequent rounds. So the money that they've already committed still remains with WapiPay, only that they won't be partnering with them going forward
in the long term.
Yeah, like if it goes to subsequent rounds, they won't take up the right that they do have based on their investment to now become equity shareholders, because this investment that they've made is non-equity, so they do not have any controlling stake. So the reason this is common practice in the VC space is because it's quicker to turn around. Like it's quicker to put the investment in a company once you've seen the pitch. It does not need a lot of time discussing all the terms of what are these loan terms, those negotiations that usually take place. So that's the whole thing. So the money still remains with WapiPay. Only that Kepple says going forward, when if it goes to further rounds, they won't be taking up the right.
Interesting stuff there. I would like to know more about that, because does it then mean that do the this Capital Ventures VCs do they come into the do they give ventures this financing at this early stage and reserve the risk of exposure?
What do you mean reserve the risk of exposure?
That is, that they don't expose themselves as much as they would if they just went into equity from the onset.
Actually, this is riskier in my view, because it's literally so safe note. It's a simple agreement for future equity.
It's called safe, yet it's riskier. Okay.
Okay.
Come on,
No, it's risky for the investor himself, the VC firm, because usually there's nothing that is really binding, and it's all dependent. Like they're making a bet on the upward potential of the company. So they're making the bet that the company will be able to do well in pre-seed, to be able to attract more funds for Series A, Series B funding rounds. So when it gets to this funding rounds, where now serious money comes to play, then they already have a foot at the door.
Okay.
Because they already gave their capital in
the seed fund.
In the pre-seed, so they are able to come in with a considerable stake for money that wasn't really a lot for them. So even for Kepple, like you'd find, because if it's 6 companies who did 2.2 million,
that's not a lot of money in the VC space.
Yeah, in the VC, that means it's slightly under, like 18 million, I think, per player or something like that.
On average.
Yeah, on average, which in the VC space isn't much to lose out on. So that's, they usually put in money that if it works out, it really works out well for them. But if it doesn't work out, it doesn't. Yeah.
Well, so still not what the WapiPay founders would want. Yeah. What has now resulted from this whole thing that emerged on the social media platforms?
Yeah, that's not what they want, because if your financiers, if the VC space, these investors do not want to be associated with you, then it means you will really struggle to raise funding
in future.
To find players to come on board will be hard, or they will push for you not to be financed, not to run the business.
So actually, if you look at it critically, is that it's not about the money. It's about them pulling out.
Yeah.
So that is an even bigger deal than the money, because that speaks now about investor confidence and how and the perception that WapiPay now has from a private equity standpoint.
Because you can, like Eddie Ndichu stepped down from the FinTech Association of Kenya board, and also both he and the brother have stepped down from their roles at WapiPay as CEO and is it MD or executive director. So both of them have stepped down and they've appointed an acting CEO to run. So these are some of the things that would come into play going forward. So every time this thing is mentioned, and I think it's unfortunately for them, fortunately for everyone else, and the gender-based, especially for discussions on gender-based violence and the like, as we get more information going forward, they happen to have struck relatives to someone who's very influential and someone who likes the press.
No.
Likes the press.
Okay,
No,
but I disagree with you, Kalia.
What?
Because
Keep
of
it
what?
short. Keep it short.
Yeah, because of one thing, Kalia. It's not, gender-based violence and violence in general is an appalling thing.
Yeah.
It's disgusting. So whether Murgor likes the press or doesn't like the press, justice must be served to those ladies.
That's what the point. You see, you interrupted me before I finished. I said the point is, because Murgor loves the press, every time he comes to the press, it's going to be more damaging to the Ndichus in terms of
their reputation,
the perception that they're having, and this thing, it's not like it's something that you can downplay, especially when you're involved in matters, international players, like people who have standards and goals and governance processes. Like, it's going to, that reputational hit is not going to be minor. Yeah.
And this is a lesson to many other people.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that was the point of my highlight. That it just intrigued me how something that you do just because you're affiliated to a company can end up affecting either company by as much as this particular thing affected WapiPay.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yes.